What's up?
Hey everyone, we are waiting for OTF Marlboro to hop on here. And while we're waiting, because I know this is recording, I'm Michelle.
I'm Randy.
We are the owners of Revolutionize Nutrition, and we are ecstatic to be here tonight. So
Yeah.
we are just going to wait until
I think
Wendy
this is
hops
our
on.
5th or 6th year helping out with the Transformation Challenge at OTF, and it's always a blast.
Always a good time. So we're super excited. I see Wendy hopping on here. I don't know if you're going to come from the OTF Marlboro account. So you're just going to request to join, and then I can accept you. Hi, everybody. Hey, Dylan. Hey, Tracy. OTF Marlboro. I just saw that you hopped on. Got the notification. And
Right, find out.
who's on the other side of the camera? Let's see. Accept. There she is. Hi, Wendy. It's been so long.
I know. What's
We
up, guys?
miss you.
Miss you.
How are you guys doing over at OTF Marlboro?
We're good. We're kicking off the Transformation Challenge 1 week from today. So we're super excited. And what I love that corporate's doing this year is they're sending out weekly emails to all participants. You know, it's outside of our scope of practice, which is why we use you for nutrition. But being they have doctors on their panel, they're going to talk about the things that happen outside of the studio, which are part of building a healthy
Awesome.
lifestyle. Rest and recovery, nutrition, where you guys come in, sleep, things of that nature, including how you might have to change up your workout routine if you're a menopausal woman. So things that really, listen, I always tell them what you do inside the studio is important.
Oh, did it pause?
Well, we might have lost Wednesday.
It froze a little bit, Wendy. Hold on. It froze. We're waiting for you to click back on. Unfreeze. Oh no. Hold up, Wendy. It's still frozen. Everybody that's joining us, stay here. Don't leave. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We're just waiting for Wendy to unfreeze.
Yeah, I guess we'll hop into some of the stuff we're going to talk about at least. One of the big things we always like to talk about when we start these transformation challenges is that the 8-week endpoint shouldn't be the goal, but your first milestone along the way.
Yes.
First of many milestones, but it should be like a springboard to turbocharge you and motivate you to long-term success. Whatever that means for you. That could mean, hitting 3 classes a week at OTF for a year and building those strong habits. That could be finally getting your nutrition in check along with your workouts, anything.
Yes. No, I'm keeping an eye on Wendy. Wendy, you may have to exit and then request to rejoin because it's still frozen. But yes, like Randy was saying, these transformation challenges should be used as a springboard towards making those healthy lifestyle changes. As you know, with transformation challenges, hold up, go live with. Let's see if it works. Come on. She's back.
I'm back.
Who's back? Well, we were just saying.
For a little.
I could hear you guys the whole time.
Okay, good. So we were just saying like how these are supposed to be a springboard to, healthy habits. And, sometimes with these transformation challenges, people go really hard, almost too hard, and it burns them out.
Especially if you haven't been training at a high level already.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that the habits that everybody's creating, although yes, like you really are dialed in right now, you can take the things that you're learning and continue to apply them for a sustainable approach, longevity. This is all super important because, in this industry, nutrition and fitness, it can be a little bit of a roller coaster ride. People go super, super hard and then they dip out. They don't go back to a gym for 3 months. We don't want that to happen.
If you get hurt in your first week, that can be super discouraging, or you're so sore you can't move.
Yes.
Things you want to avoid that are easily avoidable, and you have so much knowledge and support available to you guys at your gym. Use it. I always say when our theory workouts are amazing, but I think what you're really paying for and getting is the coaching and the support and
the community, the camaraderie is all super important. Like that's a huge motivational factor. And what do we always say? motivation isn't going to last every day. Even people like me, some days I wake up and I'd much rather sit on the couch and watch Netflix, right? But those are
it's like showering.
It's like showering. Like some days you just got to get up and do your job and follow the plan. And you might not go into that workout feeling like a superhero, but you're at least giving 100% of what you're capable of giving that day. And every day, 100% is going to look different, but as long as it is you're giving your best. Yep. And to understand, pulling away from the all or nothing mentality, knowing that if you gave it 80% of your
100%, 80%, 100% time.
Yeah, of your fullest capacity, that's amazing, and it's better than doing absolutely nothing. Trust me, you're not going to be 100% every day, but just give your 100% every day.
And that's what I say about our accountability factor. I know people don't like our late charges, and if you don't cancel within 8 hours, but part of that in pre-booking is holding yourself accountable.
It's an investment in yourself.
100%.
Yeah. It's an appointment with yourself.
You don't cancel with your boss, so why would you cancel with yourself?
Exactly.
And people say, oh, I don't have the time. Listen, this is where I'm like hardcore and not that nice. I work 2 full-time jobs. You have to make yourself a priority.
You have to.
Find that hour. And if it means 5 a.m., then it's 5 a.m. If it means 7 p.m., then it's 7 p.m. If it means going outside and doing something outside of Orange Theory, then that's what you're going to do to supplement. You have to make the time for yourself and make your life a priority, because you know what? No one can count on you if you can't count on yourself.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too, especially with, parents or people with, high stress, high demand jobs. I always recommend those 5 a.m. workouts, because not as much is going wrong at 5 a.m. as is going wrong at 9 a.m.
And that's the truth for me. Liza says it builds routine, which is necessary for consistency. Do it. And it's also important to understand fluidity in a sense of, it's good to have a routine, but sometimes shit hits the fan and things don't go according to plan. And I always say, plan for things to not go according to plan, so kind of have a backup plan. So if you miss that workout, get it done some way, somehow later on in the day. And don't just say, well, my only opportunity's gone, shit out of luck. There might be a different opportunity and modifications that have to be made, but you can still take a step in the right direction.
And I love the 80-20 rule. You're not going to be on all the time. But I always say, when you slide off, like during the holidays, let's say, you don't feel as good when you're putting your body, not working out as much, and then ingesting food that really isn't for energy.
Yes.
You're not using it well. Like, I always feel better when my protein's high and I'm incorporating the fruits and the vegetables and the complex carbs that I need for my workout. And then you go off and then you're like, oh, why am I tired? Why am I sluggish? Why is my workout off?
Yeah. You know what's amazing? It's really not rocket science. Nutrition, in a sense, is pretty simple. And when you understand what food does for the body, what proteins do, what carbohydrates do, what fats do for the body, you do see things differently, and you realize like how you're benefiting from it.
Now the complicated part and the hard part is sifting through the BS and the misinformation to find the good stuff.
Love this industry, because there's a lot of bullshit out there.
That's difficult, I'm not gonna lie. That can be tough to get the BS detectors rocking.
Yeah, and Julie, just a second. Give 100% of what you have that day. You can't be at 100 every day, but you can give 100% of what you have that day. That's it. And I always say, to be 100% for other people, a lot of people that are on here right now are their caregivers, their parents. They're spending all of their time taking care of a family, making money to take care of a family, or whoever it may be, to take care of their spouse. But to give 100%, I truly believe you need to be and feel 100% mentally, emotionally, physically, because we work with a lot of people. You have to understand that when we're at Rev, yes, we talk about nutrition, but we talk a lot about the psychological components that go on behind our behaviors, why we do and do not do the things we do. And there's a lot of resentment that people have because they're giving their all to everybody else and feeling like absolute trash themselves. So to make sure you're feeling good, to make sure you don't have any resentment or anything like that, I truly believe you need to take time out of your day, even if it's 20 freaking minutes for yourself.
Let's get back to Wendy in a second to add to that. I think it's important to focus on yourself before it explodes and becomes a problem. and it's not all the time in life is going to have that perfect 50-50 balance. If you're starting a business, you have a newborn, obviously the priorities are going to be a little off, sure, but it should never be 100 and 0, 90 and 10. It should be at least 70-30. Give yourself that hour a day, half hour a day.
Dude, some people just need 10 minutes to just space out and stare at a wall. Whatever it is, like, you just have to do something yourself. And I love Liza goes, Wendy is the one who introduced me to Rev, life-changing time period, collective awe.
Well, guys, that's what I say about the transformation challenge. I can't think of what I would rename it, but I don't like the wording because it's a challenge which, yes, it's competitive. You're going to win a prize. But at the end of the day, it's just an 8-week. It's a kickstart. To me, it's a transformation kickstart to longevity and a healthy lifestyle. So maybe corporates listening, we could tweak the name a little because people end up changing everything.
Yeah.
They start going into a calorie deficit. They give up alcohol. They start doubling up on their workouts. They give up everything. They're miserable. And guess what? At the end of 8 weeks, they win and they go back to their old habits.
Yeah.
That's not what this is about.
Yeah, we've been in the fitness industry for about 20 years now. And I always say the worst thing I always saw as a trainer and a nutritionist watching different transformation challenges over the years, it was a repeat winner. Because that means
they did really good pretend to be winning over and over again.
Put it all back on in the next 8 months.
I always say, and it brings friends.
Yes, Julie goes, 1 hour workout is only 4% of your day.
Yes.
Yeah, like if you guys break it down and you go, wait, what?
It's small incremental changes over a longer period of time. If you get rid of everything that you enjoy, you're not going to be successful. That's it. It's just the way it is because you deserve to live.
Yes.
You deserve to have that treat. You deserve to have a glass of wine, and enjoy your family and food and company. 20% of the time.
Yeah.
But, Rome wasn't built in a day, and building a healthy lifestyle is not done in a day.
It's those small changes. Over the past year, I finally started taking care of myself again. And I'm down, let's say 45, 50 pounds since July.
Amazing.
And I've not been living life like a bodybuilder. I cut out a few things a day, and I got back in the gym 2 to 3 times. And just by having, I'd probably say I'm 70-30 with my nutrition. I'm not going to look like a ripped bodybuilder and have 10-pack abs, but I'm in a healthier spot.
10-pack abs.
Yeah, not even 10.
It's a mutant.
Oh, that's a lot of abs, Randy.
Keep going.
So it's all about putting your goal in perspective. Where Michelle's physique is at now versus when she used to step on stage. Different social requirements and different sacrifices needed to be made when you're going to that extreme, but they're not sustainable.
Right. So like people say, like, why aren't you as lean as you are when you compete? Because there's certain things that I'm not really willing to give up right now. Like I want to have a slightly different balance. So I'm good. I'm chilling,
Well, you look at these super trainers online, and I follow many of them, but they'll even tell you can't sustain that lifestyle forever. There's a certain body type and things that you do to perform on stage, and then you reverse it.
Yes.
They have to go back to normal.
Yes. Contest prep physique is not a year-round occurrence. Same thing with photo shoots. When you see like your Instagram models and all these people doing shoots, they're prepping for shoots specifically. They look like that for that 5 minutes or that 30-minute shoot. It's not year-round.
Yeah.
So,
and people who, not all of them, but let's say a lot of people who look a certain way all the time, there's parts of their routine they're not telling you.
Yeah.
So we coupled with you guys, gosh, like 8-9 years ago. It's outside of our scope of practice to speak nutrition, but nutrition's such a pivotal part, as is rest and recovery. Recovery is huge, guys, as well as sleep patterns, things of that nature. So we want to bring you aboard so you guys can give some nutritional information, and then hopefully, if you're really trying to build a healthy lifestyle during this transformation challenge, I truly believe they need to come to you. I'm going to give you an example, guys. My son didn't do the transformation challenge, but he joined Orange Theory as a senior in high school, just January of his senior year. But I said, I know what I'm doing in that side, I don't know I shouldn't say I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not licensed. I'm not certified, whatever.
Right.
So I sent him to Rev. He has lost 100 pounds and has kept it off, guys, for a year and a half while being a freshman, now a sophomore in college.
He looks
But
amazing.
it's all the
But
above.
not even his physique, but when you see the pictures of him, he's smiling, he's confident, he feels good. And those are all such important factors besides for what we just see. It's what's going on in here. And it's just beautiful. He's like radiating in these pictures you sent me.
And that confidence is such a huge point. I mean, when we talk to anybody who is in a public facing position in life, whether it's, personal trainers who are on display all day, or you're a salesman or a speaker, whatever it is, feeling confident in your own skin, the clothes you're wearing is
important.
You're going to walk in a room, feel confident. People are going to perceive you differently, whether that's right or wrong. First impressions, people are going to see something.
Yes. Yeah.
So I want you guys to take it away, just so all of our members who are on, and this is actually going to be recorded and sent out to our participants. I highly recommend the nutritional component. Tracking macros is everything, guys. And we've partnered with Revolutionize because they do it best. I've been one of their clients. My son has many, many, many members who have been successful. So guys, whatever you want to share,
it's been awesome working with you guys and all the OTF members. The combination of OTF and Revolutionize Nutrition, the results have been outstanding. So along your journey, we want you guys to reach out to us. Even if you're not a Rev member, reach out to us. Let us know how your progress is going. We love hearing from you. In addition, in the comments section, at any point, feel free to ask us questions so we can dig a little bit deeper into either the topic or specific needs.
I'm also sorry. And if there's anything you don't want to talk about publicly, or some people don't want to wait for us to answer right now, you can DM us or email us at revolutionizemj.com, or check out our website and contact us there.
Yes. And so just really quickly, going back on recovery, you were talking about that before. Guys, like we said, these transformation challenges, people go very, very hard every single day. You have to understand recovery is important so your muscles can literally heal and you can perform more optimally the next day.
That's a great point to go into why you should track macros and what the certain macros will do and why they're important for all those things.
So if you haven't heard, or worked with us before, what are macronutrients? What are micronutrients? What are calories? So calories, let's just simplify it. It's just a way we're going to measure energy in the body. Okay, your macronutrients, MACRO, are your nutrients in your body in large amounts. So those are your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, as opposed to your micronutrients, which are your vitamins and your minerals. So your proteins are your building blocks. These are when you're in the gym and you are ripping apart your muscle fibers while you're lifting. That's literally what you're doing. You're breaking down your muscle fibers. The protein that you take in is going to help those muscle fibers build and repair so you can continue to perform.
Yeah, as well as the carbohydrates.
Yes. And so those are 4 calories per gram. 4 calories per gram. The carbohydrates, this is one that people like to eliminate during weight loss challenges. Please do not do this. Carbohydrates are extremely important for the body, for performance, physically, cognitively. They are also 4 calories per gram. These are your performance molecules. This is going to be your prime source of energy. Let's request it. Then you have your fats. Your fats are 9 calories per gram. They are more dense. These are super important for your vital organ functioning, brain function, and hormonal synthesis. Hormones.
So we're maintenance. If any macronutrients, the most important not to go too low with, I would always say it's fats. This is when you see problems with women's menstrual cycles.
Men's testosterone.
Testosterone can drop, and most of the time when you clean up the diet, it does repair. But for people that were predisposed to having issues with that in the first place, or were on those restrictions for an extended period of time, you may have complications and issues down the line that don't come back without help.
Yes. Quick question, Liza. After a tough Orange Theory fitness session and hunger peaks, what's the best macro to focus on post-workout, and doesn't matter how long after the workout you eat? Good. So we can talk about the anabolic window and what's required.
Well, first off, we literally had a conversation about 3 hours ago how Liza asked the best questions that are really good. I think a lot of
they're thought-provoking and they're very important to review. So I love this from you.
So the correct answer is it should be a balanced meal of protein, fats, and carbs. Usually I'd say it's a higher carb, higher fat meal, and 15 to 25 grams of protein. Could be lower, 10 if you're going to have another meal like an hour after. But the carbs and fats are really going to help you replenish everything that was lost. The fats are going to benefit that hormone function because at that time, a lot of the hormones are very sensitive. But the second part of Liza's question of how long after, the old myth of, the anabolic window was if you didn't have that protein shake by the time you walked out of the studio, the workout was trash.
Not true.
The anabolic window is relatively real, but it's closer to 4 to 7 hours. The only advantage to eating or having a shake earlier would be satiety and nausea issues.
Yeah, so sometimes they won't feel hungry after a very aggressive run. They're not hungry, they're not hungry, they're not hungry. And then all of a sudden they're ravenous and they want to eat everything in their kitchen. So eating a little bit sooner after your workout is important to keep you from just going balls to the wall and eating everything in sight.
And also too, for people who struggle with their protein, missing that meal, missing that post-workout, now you're back behind 20 grams low on your macros.
It's hard to catch up. So if you're getting like 20 grams of protein, 30 grams of carb, you should be pretty solid.
It doesn't need to be this thing you see on Instagram of a pack of Rice Krispie Treats, gummy worms, and a Pepsi.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be that either.
Yeah, but the quantity also depends on, the intensity of the workout, the person we're working with, and the goals. So there's a lot that goes into that. So we talked about your macros, your micros are your vitamins and minerals, and why flexible nutrition. So we don't really rely on like meal templates at Rev. We want you to have the tools and the education to make your own decisions every day, and not rely on, I must eat chicken and broccoli for meal 3.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do that.
A lot of people they say, well, I have no idea how to create a meal plan. Once we teach you the basics of it and we give you those starting macronutrients, or you create the starting macronutrients for yourself or another nutrition, whatever. Once you track, each day you track with a perfect set of nutrients, that's a meal plan. There you go. If you just replicate that, it's there.
Yes.
So you're basically creating your own meal plan every day based on your choices, taste, and lifestyle.
Right. And then the flexible component, not only making your own decisions, but knowing there's nothing off limits can help you psychologically as well. Knowing that you can have this healthy relationship with food and not say, I ate a cookie, so F it, I'm going to go eat the whole box of cookies. That's not how it should be. You can have a cookie. You can make it work and just move on, and not have this negative association with a cookie. Like, life is short. Eat the cookie.
And the big thing too, I express to all our members, but if you're doing macros outside of us or on your own, it may not be expressed. The numbers are ranges. If I say 200 grams of carbs and you have 201, the program's not over. Or you have 199, it's over the other way. It's in range anywhere from plus 10 to 15 depending on the goals.
Yes.
You're in that window more often than not, you're going to be perfectly fine.
Yes. Sometimes these things come down to quantity as well. Like I was just talking about the one cookie versus a box of cookies. People have these negative associations with certain types of food, like
and
pizza.
Positive with some negative ones.
And positive with some negative ones, because something's labeled as superfood. They think they can eat copious amounts of it, right? So pizza, okay, did you have a slice of pizza or did you eat the whole pie? Did you have a serving of ice cream or did you eat the whole pint, right? This is 2 very different things we're talking about. In addition, many people will associate something that's labeled gluten-free, clean, organic, healthy, superfood, and they go, oh, these have all these fancy labels on it. It's a marketing tactic. So they say, oh, I can eat as much of it as I want. Next thing you know it, they've had 10 servings of trail mix, and it's not doing them any favors.
And one of the bigger culprits we've seen, over the years, it's calmed down a little bit, but it'll be back because they always come back, was like the coconut oil when paleo and carnivore and that stuff. Without speak, people are like, I'm going to have all this coconut oil because it's full of nutrients and vitamins.
They were making 20 calories worth of spinach, all of a sudden a 500 calorie like sponge.
And there is a good amount of vitamins and micronutrients in those oils. But you need 1 tablespoon. You'll get them, I promise.
You'll be fine. Yes. Let's see. Antoinette, don't trust the boxes that claim they are protein rich. Always read the nutrition label.
I remember we saw
labels.
a Snickers in the supermarket, and
high protein.
It was like 6 grams of protein. It might have been 4.
As opposed to like the 60 grams of carb and like the 30 grams of fat in it. So you need to learn how to read labels and don't fall for the marketing tactics. They are sneaky as hell.
Wait, Randy, the question is, how many did you have?
Snickers aren't my jam. Milky Ways are.
To be honest. But that wasn't labeled.
I didn't know which it was.
And then Liza says, as far as flexibility, can a few grams of extra fat be exchanged for lower carbs by lowering carbs in a smaller
Yes.
by a small range, and vice versa.
So short answer, yes.
Calorically.
Especially if you don't have any issues either way with it. Usually it's about a 2-to-1 ratio. If the fats are 9, the carbs are 4, you can make it simple and just, if you're adding in 5 grams of fat, pull down 10 carbs. It's not perfect, but
calorically, you can do a little Tetris.
But you don't want to get too crazy with that, where all of a sudden you pulled your fats down to 15 to get an extra bunch of carbs.
Yes. Also, Antoinette, that's hilarious. Protein Cheerios adds literally 1 gram. It's true.
Remember, guys, it's a range. Like when you guys give macros, you can always go like, especially for the protein, 5 to 15 over. You don't have to hit the number, and people get number crazy. So that's not
get number crazy, and you're not supposed to hear. It's when we say flexible nutrition, flexibility means so many different things here, and you do not have to be OCD. If we say you need to have 140 grams of protein a day, and you're having like this one like baby piece of chicken just to get that, no, like you have ranges, and you're gonna get the same results if you fall within those ranges. It's perfectly fine.
So, and if you don't make it sustainable,
it won't last.
It's not gonna last. It's not gonna last. It's gonna drive you nuts. Same thing with the scale. People get number crazy with the scale. Yeah. So let's dive into that really quick.
Throw out
all the scale. Yeah, all the things that affect your weight on the scale. You need to remember that.
I was looking at the food scale.
Oh no. Wait, your weight on this. He thought I was talking about a food scale.
Wait, no, Liza just said. So you're saying I can have a small side of Chick-fil-A sauce?
Yeah, you can. Measure that shit out. Have it. That stuff is like crack though.
Just have a tablespoon.
It's good. Just taking the bottles.
Like that mayo heat up.
Yes. So when we were talking about the scale, it's your relationship with gravity. That's all it is. It doesn't know what you're composed of. Body fat, muscle, water, food still in your digestive tract. Are you swollen? Are you getting your menstrual cycle? Do you have intramuscular swelling from a leg day session yesterday? There are so many variables that affect your weight on the scale. Don't weigh yourself at night if you normally weigh yourself in the morning, for instance. It is constantly going to change throughout the day. And the number one factor affecting your weight on the scale is water. The amount of water that your body is holding from basically all those things that I was listing before.
And when she means that, she doesn't mean like overall, well, it is actually overall large percentage of your body weight, but like the fluctuations in your water level.
Fluctuations, yes.
So 70%.
Yeah, so that's why we do those Fit3D scans, because Randy and I and the staff have the eye to decipher amongst your weight, what is body fat, what is lean mass, did you take a crap, did you go to the bathroom, did you start a new medication? There's just so many factors that go into it. So our job is to keep you sane.
Yes, and that's where, even amongst the transformation challenge and along the way, you want to focus a lot on the non-scale victories. And the non-scale victories. Are your clothes fitting better? Are you feeling stronger and more energized in the gym? Do you just feel better, basically?
Liza said farts, water, farts. No, just me. It's vapor. But like I like how Randy was saying, those non-scale victories, not only in your clothes, but your performance goals. If you are malnourished and you are going too hard with severe restricting with your nutrition, you are going to perform like absolute trash, not only in the gym, but for your entire day. Cognitive function, you're going to be spacing out more. Like there's so many things that could go wrong. So you need to have the right amount of protein, carb, and fat for your body, for your energy requirements and your goals.
Right, and a lot of that too is, if you restrict too much, you'll lose weight, but that weight will also be composed of a lot of lean mass. So you will lose the weight and not look and feel the way you thought you would, as if you kept the proper macronutrients and incorporated, the methods OTF has, the HIIT cardio, the strength training, the combo of the both. It really is optimized to maintain that lean mass in that cutting phase.
Yeah, we can manipulate weight, but sometimes it just doesn't match to the image you have in your head.
Anybody who's wrestled, fought, weighed in for anything, powerlifting, you know how much you can manipulate a scale.
It's insane. You can
manipulate it with water.
Yeah.
Water. Drink tons and tons of water and then dehydrate yourself. And then you drop it.
You know, it's not real.
There's tons of tricks.
There's so many tricks, and it's kind of like a science experiment.
It's
it is
fun.
Really cool, but everybody that's listening needs to understand what is weight loss versus fat loss, and they are two very different things.
I do want to just stop and correct. I'm sorry, Randy. We are not HIIT.
Oh.
We're heart rate based.
You're doing the strength, but you are incorporating the strength training.
Correct.
the resistance training.
But we're not considered true HIIT.
Okay, got it.
You know,
No,
we're
I meant more
considered we're
the
more
stop and
heart
go.
rate based intervals.
Got
That's
it,
all
got
right.
it, got it.
Schools me now, Randy. It's okay.
So Glenn says restricting also will lead to binging eventually. So touch on that really quick.
100%.
Severe restricting is always going to lead for somebody to be like, I can't do this anymore. And the second they taste something that they've been pulling out of their diet for so long, they might go on a binger, which is a very serious issue. The yo-yo dieting is real. The psychological pitfalls from that is real. So you really want to have the sustainable approach so you don't run into that problem. Julie, how would you calculate what your proper macronutrients should be? Is there a formula of sorts?
There is, but it varies a lot person to person.
They're really wonky. Yeah.
The basics are, if you can find out your RMR,
resting metabolic rate,
or BMR, depending on whatever you want to go.
Basal metabolic rate.
And you add, 250 or minus 250 from it to find either a surplus or deficit. You can put the percentages at like 35% carbs, 35% protein, and the rest 30 fat. Manipulate within those percentages is a good starting place for most people.
They can't tell you the macro calculations or they'll have to kill you.
No, they're not that top secret.
They are on the internet, but the thing is that they don't take into account, you got to remember, hormones affect it, your true physical activity level affects it.
Most people overestimate that.
Everyone, they say I'm high intensity, and they're not. So your age, your weight, other energy requirements, like there's so much that goes into it, which is what personalizes it for you. Because otherwise it's a robot spitting out numbers, and as you're doing it, you realize this isn't what I need. I need to tweak things around.
Yeah, and sometimes someone will go the other way too, and they do give you too much also. I've seen a lot online.
Yeah. So
as well as Michelle, what are your goals? What's the look you're going for?
What are your goals?
Are you looking for skinny fat? Or are you looking for muscle definition?
Yes.
I mean,
so like, are we working with
so
somebody like myself who wants to lean out and be lean? Are we working with a marathon runner? Are we working with a fighter? Are we working with somebody who's sedentary, doesn't work out at all, just works a desk job? These are all things that matter.
We have wheelchair bound.
Wheelchair. There's so many different things, and this is what's going to customize it further, So that's super important. Talking about, so we jump into like the genetic factor. Really quick. So this kind of like falls into like the misconceptions and people talking about spot reduction and whatnot. Our body genetically is
I saw it.
Shut your mouth. Our bodies are genetically predisposed to where we store our body fat. We can't control that, unfortunately.
Just thank your parents.
Thank your parents. Spot reduction is a huge myth in the industry. We cannot spot reduce body fat. That is
especially visceral and belly fat in that area.
Yes. So an example of spot reduction is somebody thinking they could do 1 million abdominal crunches and it'll burn the belly fat. That is not how it works. Your body has muscle and your body has fat. They are two different things. But muscle cannot turn into fat, and fat cannot turn into muscle.
For example, if you're watching football earlier or later, you look at the offensive linemen, these guys have some of the strongest abs and cores on the planet to be able to sit in that squat athletic position and stop another 300-pound man coming at them and stay balanced. Mm-hmm. But that wide receiver who has 4% body fat is going to look more fit, where he may not be able to do half the physical feats that bigger guy may be able to be.
Their dietary requirements and their training requirements are different. Genetically, what do you naturally kind of veer towards, right? So my body tends to put on muscle pretty easily. Cutting is much harder for me, right? The shape of our muscle bellies, the shape of our physiques, this is all genetic, and then we can build upon it.
Yeah, and most people are able to go a lot farther than they think genetically. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like, why won't my butt lean out? A lot of times that's the last thing. On guys, why can't I lose those love handles? A lot of time that's the last thing. Is your estrogen and testosterone levels off? That may affect that in men a whole lot.
Hormones
Same thing
are
with
massive.
women. And sometimes you can control, and sometimes it's something you can manage. Those are two different things to me. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I just wanted to talk about that because that's what everybody says. Like, how do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of this?
And there is no supplement that can spot reduce.
There's no supplement that can spot reduce your fat. Yeah, correct, Liza. So I just, I wanted to touch on that briefly. I wanted to say something else, but it disappeared. So we talked about things that cause the weight fluctuations, the importance of the strength training and the cardio. You guys are doing a beautiful blend
of
those things. People are they're able to work on their cardiovascular endurance. And now what I really love is, and you always have, but I really feel like you're putting more and more emphasis on the resistance training component of it.
Yes.
And I need to tell everybody, and I'm sure you hear this from your coaches all the time, you are stronger than you think. Stop holding yourself back, especially the women, guys too, but women tend to do this because they're afraid they're going to get bulky. You are not. I could go on a whole.
And why are women not going to get bulky? Because they don't have the hormones.
You don't have the hormones for it. Like, they think if they lift weight, they're going to turn into a bodybuilder. I'm like, that's not how this works.
There's that great Arnold Schwarzenegger quote. If it's a true story or not, who knows? But he said it. He's walking down some boulevard in California with his shirt off, and two women look at him and go, "Ugh, I've never want to look at it." He goes, "Don't worry, you won't.
You won't."
So, and I'm not sure. Do you know our new product, Tread 50? Like, listen, cardio has its place. I'm never going to knock it down.
No, it does.
You want to build a healthy heart, but if you want to build lean muscle, lift weights.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
All the cardio craze. It's not the 1980s. We've learned a lot more since then. Like, it's not the Jane Fonda era. I mean, when I started coaching, it was step aerobics in college. Like, so much fun. But
if I could only get bulky, I've been trying for 10 years. Yes, you guys have to understand there is a genetic component. There is a hormonal component. And you have to understand, like, I'll use myself as an example because, listen, like, my physique isn't for everybody, and that's fine. And to some people, I'm tiny, right? So perception.
AI picture guy.
If I put my physique into AI, it thinks I'm a dude. So it's great. I will send you the pictures. It's hilarious. But the thing is that I have been training and eating a very specific way for years. Up until 2018, my body pretty much tapped out. I cannot physiologically or hormonal build further than I have built since 2018. And I've pretty much maintained since then. And I've chosen to maintain since then because I like where I'm at. So I took my body as far as I could, and now I'm chilling. Now, somebody else can eat and train the same exact way I did for the same amount of time and look completely different.
Better, worse.
Better, worse. People need to understand. They'll be like, oh, if they'll say to somebody else, I want to look like you. I go, just be the best version of yourself, because you can do exactly what somebody else is doing, somebody that you idolize or you want to aspire to be, and you still won't look like them. Again, better, or it might exceed them, right? Yeah. So that's another thing that people need to keep in mind.
I wanted to hop back to those benefits of strength training. Not only are you building that lean mass in the gym, which is really going to help shape your body and give you the image that you probably want in your head. It's going to firm all the things you want firmed and shape things you want shaped. But as well as you're going to burn a lot of calories outside the gym. You'll have that raised metabolism for, up to 72 hours.
As your body's trying to heal and recover.
And I always tell people, like Wendy said, cardio has its place. But cardio, in terms of caloric burn, think of it as clocking into your 9 to 5. You're going to burn or make money while you're doing that, and it's done. Your strength training, that's an investment that's going to give you compound interest over time. That's going to work for you. So you're going to do that, half hour in the gym of that, and you're going to be getting benefits from that all day long. And so work smarter, not harder.
And Liza says, I feel like the scary part for a lot of people is feeling like the calorie deficit will be forever, not knowing they will go into maintenance. And people need to understand that maintenance is a goal within itself. So you'll hit a goal, and then you have to learn, how do I maintain this?
Yeah, and some people may lose, especially who lose a significant amount of weight. It's not always going to be a linear down forever. Let's say you have 150 pounds to lose. You may lose 75 in that first cut, and then get to a point where your body just resisted and it's getting overly restrictive. Mm-hmm. This is a period where you may have to reverse diet, and all that means is slowly raising your macros and calories to either a maintenance or slightly above maintenance level to, keep your metabolism and everything healthy so that you can go in and do more while maintaining a proper lean mass and healthy relationship with food.
Yes. And again, healthy relationship with food is like everything. So going back into the nutrition component, many people will talk to us about the dreaded plateau. And what does that mean? And why am I stuck where I'm at? So there are many ways to tackle this topic, but the number one thing, the number one reason why people plateau is accidentally
Getting loose with their
not tracking correctly.
Yeah.
They may think they're tracking correctly, and they're actually forgetting some stuff. So it could be error in the app itself, the tracker itself. It could be error in measurements. They could be overestimating their caloric expenditure during the day and underestimating their caloric intake. But the biggest culprit is what we call BLTs, so the bites, licks, tastes, and sips. So these are the little bite of cookie that we had, the bite of our husband's sandwich, the couple of sips of the coffee loaded with sugar and creamer in the morning. All these teeny tiny little bits, what are those lifesaver throat lounger things, right? You have
when you're working 8 hours,
you have like 20 a day, right? And you're like, but there's only 10 calories in one. But these little bits by themselves, totally fine. But when you're having all of these things throughout the day, every day, you may be pulling yourself out of that caloric deficit, even out of caloric maintenance and into a surplus, which happens quite often. And that's something that's a lot of self-awareness. It's a lot of, hey, check yourself sort of situation.
Yeah, self-audit, I always call it.
Self-audit.
If you haven't been tracking or weighing as diligently, and that's okay. That's normal when you're in maintenance to loosen up a little bit. But if you see all of a sudden you're not getting the results you should be getting, time to do that audit. Sit there and do a hardcore track and measure for a week. See if your body responds properly. That'll tell you if it was a human error or not.
Exactly. So watch out for that. I think the biggest one we've been getting lately is everybody with their coffees. And I'm like, how much creamer are you putting in that? It's like half a cup worth of creamer.
And I think that leads really good into alcohol.
Alcohol.
Oh, the big
Show
one.
a hand if you drink. I actually don't drink much at all. So alcohol is something that I'm not going to sit here and say don't drink, because that'd be pretty not cool of me to do. But it is a fourth macronutrient. It does have 7 calories per gram. It does not have any benefits to the body.
Outside of just providing energy. A while back I was doing this and it drove me crazy, so I had to look it up. Technically, if you got stranded on a desert island with only alcohol, you would live till you died from the alcohol poisoning. It would give you enough calories till you died from something else.
Now tell them the cold hard truth. What does it do to their workout?
So the biggest thing, you're going to go in, if you're hungover, you're going to go in and perform like absolute trash. But it does reduce your protein synthesis. It destroys your muscle recovery.
Protein synthesis just basically means how much of the protein you're eating goes towards that anabolism, muscle growth, muscle repair. So basically you're getting half the muscular gains from that workout you should have gotten.
Yes. So if we do have people that do drink, there have been a lot of different tactics that we've had to again, make things remain sustainable. So they'll save their drinking to one night out of the week. Or it's not often, but we've had people that we had to make 5 ounces of wine to their macros every single day. We had to do it. We're like, okay, how can we make 4 ounces or 5 ounces fit with your dinner every day so this is sustainable for you? And it worked. But with everything that you introduce to your diet, there's a sacrifice that might have to be made somewhere else. So that glass of wine may have given you 60 carbohydrates worth, because we're going to calculate the alcohol as a carbohydrate. It's a calculation.
You can do it as a fat also. We usually do it as a carb.
We usually do it as a carb. So all of a sudden you realize this tiny glass of wine just ate up 60 grams of carb. You're going to have to sacrifice something else, right? It's Tetris with food.
Sometimes it's misleading too. You'll get that vodka and you'll look at the back, so no carbs, no fats, no protein. But it'll say 20 or 40 calories per shot, whatever it is. I think it's more than that.
It's 100
calories. 100 calories per shot.
100.
Sorry, 80 to 100. I don't drink. 80 to 100. And that comes from the alcohol. So the calories are there. They do matter.
And there's a way to calculate them into the apps.
Not that
those damn cans, the seltzer cans, tell everybody. You know how many members say to me, there's no carbs in here.
Carbs.
I'm like, you can't really be that naive.
You nailed it. Or it'll say 4 carbs. It's but it says 100 calories. Yeah. Where are the calories coming from? And it is coming from that macronutrient alcohol.
It must be that protein-induced seltzer.
Yes.
Well, I always like calling it active ignorance. You're choosing not to learn the thing so you can keep doing it.
So if the can you're drinking is 100 calories, let's count it all as carbohydrates. So take 100 calories, divide it by 4. Okay. divide it by 4, and let's call that can 25 carbs. So I just did the calculation for you guys.
So even if you're not tracking, sometimes it can be a good way to just kind of give yourself a double check. Be like, oh man, is that worth it? And sometimes the answer is yes. I don't know, if you're on vacation and you enjoy yourself, just pick your spots though. Not every meal needs six mojitos. Have 3 at dinner.
Exactly. And Eliza made a great point. Net carbs are misleading. When you're tracking in the app, make sure the app is showing you all the carbs, not just the net carbs. When we're tracking macros, we're talking about all carbohydrates, not just net, okay? So do keep that in mind, because we've had people that thought they were hitting their carbohydrates, but they were only tracking net carbs.
And they could be like anywhere 50 to 100.
Oh my God. They thought they were hitting like 150 carbs a day, and they were really hitting like 300 carbs per day. So
especially if you're eating a lot of protein bars and things like that. A lot of
that
them
has high fiber in it.
3 net carbs, 4 net carbs, but 35, 40 total carbs.
Yeah, so watch out for that.
And listen, guys.
So we talk about
protein bars, protein shakes have their place, but if you can get it from real food,
they are a supplement to your diet. That's all.
When we're talking about, especially staying satiated, so the protein bars and the like Quest chips, I love Quest chips, right? They are like my emergency snacks. So if you're at your kid's soccer game and things are going along longer than you anticipated and you're starving, you have a bar in your purse. It'll keep you satiated until you have time to have a meal.
You took your meal out of the fridge and you dropped it.
Like, shit happens, right? So they're great to have as emergency supplies, or like if you want to use your Quest chips and make a big thing of like nachos, or dip it into your chili or something. Awesome. But when you're eating your, let's call them whole foods, right? Like when you're eating your foods, your meals, it is going to keep you satisfied longer. Throw in a lot of vegetables, high fiber options, and protein. It's going to keep you fuller longer, slower to digest. If you are a volume eater, I am a big volume eater. I like to eat lots of things. A little tip that I do is I personally would rather get 30 grams of carbohydrate from this much vegetable as opposed to this much brown rice. So if you're getting your carbohydrates from like vegetables, it's going to take longer to eat, but it's going to keep you full. It takes up a lot of space.
Talking just quick complex carbs versus simple carbs. They both have their place. Like Michelle said, the complex carbs, those sweet potatoes, high fiber stuff, they are going to keep you satiated longer and be more of a slow burn. But the quick carbs do have a place, pre-workout, post-workout, for recovery. You need a short burst for physical activity. They can be really useful in those periods.
Yeah.
But if you're having that donut and coffee at 8 a.m. for breakfast, you're going to be exhausted by 11.
Without a doubt.
Whereas that,
gurgling.
your multi-grain bread and eggs sandwich, which will keep you a lot more satiated.
Oh, I love my eggy McEgger sandwich.
And vegetables have carbs, guys.
Yes,
they have
fruits and vegetables.
I'm sorry, and they count.
Fruits and vegetables
count towards your macros.
Are great.
You can't pretend they don't.
Yeah, but fruits are very sneaky too. Vegetables have those carbs. I think a cup of broccoli's 10 carbs?
10 carbs per cup.
So again, it's not a lot, but
if you're having a cup with say 3 meals a day, that's 30 grams of.
Like I said, it's very, very good fat on broccoli. But if the broccoli was on top of 150 carbs already, that's where it is.
That's what I'm saying. It's just the cumulative effect of everything.
Yeah. Now, if you're going to choose 2 cups of broccoli or a can of White Claw,
and that's your
different effect, guys.
Nailed it.
One's going to have a lot more benefit for you.
Yes.
I don't know how I skipped over this with the alcohol. Another big thing in it, as it's processing through your body, it's obviously, it's a toxin. That's what gives it the fun side effects. But as your body's processing it, that's kind of priority number 1. And all your like luxury body functions, burning body fat, maintaining lean mass, these all get kind of put on the back burner. The analogy I like to compare it to is, your house is on fire and your house is, you're worried about putting out the fire. This would be like thinking about, mopping the floors and doing the dishes while the house is on fire.
Wait, Michelle, I got to show you.
Show me.
Yep. I'm drinking wine.
I knew it. I know you want to drink wine.
I got that nice
come
coffee.
on now. Stay awake.
So a good way of thinking about it is, what is it? 1 serving of alcohol takes about an hour to get out of your system. So you have that 1 glass for about an hour. You won't be optimizing. You have 10 glasses. It's a longer time.
Yeah, you can make your wine into spritzers. Drink some water in between each alcoholic beverage.
But again, there's a lot of I don't like the advice of don't drink. Because there's a large spectrum of what drinking means for everybody.
Correct.
And that's what we were saying before. Like this transformation challenge. Why I hate the terminology. So many people are going to give up alcohol for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't suggest it because you're going to go back to it and it's not
The
sustainable.
second the transformation challenge is over, they're like, let's go to the bar and get crazy.
And listen,
It's like,
and the
no.
funny part about it is we're having a live DJ for the
Of
last
course
day,
you
and it's St.
are.
Patty's Day, so you know what we're doing after? We're going to the bar
Of
for
course
green
you
beer.
are.
Like, so,
Because that's how people celebrate.
that's
And it should be okay. You shouldn't, people should be able to have that day and then be like,
yes.
Yeah, you get back on track,
that was
though.
fun, back to normal.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah. You're going to feel
what do you guys
trash
say all the
next day.
time, especially when I was a client there?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have days where you quote unquote go off, mess up, have something you didn't intend to have. What's the best thing to do? Have your next meal.
That's it.
Drink tons of water. Get right back on track. Don't eliminate.
Hydrate.
Just go back to what your
Yeah.
normal routine was.
And guys, I'm going to talk about just hydrate. We work with the police academies in the state of New Jersey and all the police departments. The number one reason why we were called to start teaching their nutrition courses, like was that 6 years ago now, was because of dehydration. It's the number one issue.
Yeah.
You got your water.
Yeah. We actually got a cool thing we're going to be talking about tomorrow. We actually, somebody wrote a book on police reliability and sustainability throughout life. Resiliency. We have a nice little excerpt in there we're going to share tomorrow. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So yeah, guys, please stay hydrated and you'll perform better too.
Yes.
Guys, let's talk about rest and recovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of, and listen, no ill will. People need workouts for mental benefits, but doubling up constantly is not great. Like, if you need to do something for mental benefit, go for a walk if you've already done your workout.
Some yoga,
do a little yoga,
active
do some stretching.
There's active recovery days where you can call it your rest day, but you can still go to a gym if you just need the atmosphere. Take out a yoga mat, do some stretching, mobility work.
Yeah, do some calf, forearms, abs.
Stuff like that.
Right?
You need to remember that if you're doing like multiple sessions per day, you do need to nourish and hydrate, but training is a stressor on the body. It does release good things, but it also, like the feel-good hormones, but it does have a stress response in the body as well, which is why your body needs to recover and repair. Yeah. You're literally, when you're in the gym and you're feeling that pump and you feel amazing, it's interesting because as great as you feel, you're actually destroying your muscle. You're ripping it up. So you need to sleep, you need to recover, you need to hydrate, you need to nourish and repair. I know sleep is a huge issue for most people. We've done blogs on that. We have a lot of really great tips for sleep as well, because that is when your body is continuing to digest and recover.
And I think when it comes to multiple workouts, this is again where that misinformation and social media, and there's a lot of good fitness professionals on social media, and there's a lot of not good social media professionals. And some of these not good ones really portray some unhealthy lifestyles. And that may be because, they're taking X, Y, or Z, or they're saying they do something and they're not. There's just certain things that are not sustainable. Michael Phelps, when he's training for the Olympics, you heard, 10,000 calorie diet to keep up with that workload. And he's an elite athlete who's getting, massages, physical therapy, all the best things.
Recovery.
They're saying, Tom Brady, when he was playing football, was spending upwards of a couple $1 million on his self-recovery a year. Obviously, it's normal people can't do that. But the point is, if these elite athletes are investing so much in their recovery and their genetic specimens, shouldn't the rest of us be investing just as much?
Yes. Yes. Without a doubt.
Because it really is 33% of the equation.
It's a huge component of it. So again, you need to recover so you can perform optimally, so you can get stronger. That's the point of why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can't move. You could have movement that day.
It's just we're not
go for a hike.
We're just not going that strenuous route,
A little more steady.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. There's a lot of things you can do, and this is one of those areas where I don't like to keep harping on it, but use your coaches, use the resources available to you. I tell people, Rev members, you read an article or come across something, you want a second opinion on it? I'm so happy to do that. And half the time I go, that's awesome. That's a great idea. It's a little different. Or other times I go, that sounds really silly and dangerous, or that's just straight up nonsense. So
Randy said it's 33% of the equation. What's the other waves hand number percentage? I don't see that.
Nutrition can get 34 and exercise gets the other 33.
So the next thing is when we talk about meal timing, everybody says, like, how many meals should I have a day? This is different person to person, depending on A few different factors. A, what performance is required of you, and also what your lifestyle, right? So like there's a woman that we work with, she's an IFBB pro. She's only able to eat 2 meals a day sometimes because she's a surgeon. She'll be in surgery for like 11 hours at a time. So she has a massive breakfast and a massive dinner. She's still hitting her macros, but she was only able to eat 2 meals that day.
And as well, we have a ton of, shift workers, nurses, law enforcement, there's a million different jobs where you can't always get a break when you thought you were getting. You've got that extra overtime that you can't turn down, or they won't let you turn down. Days get out of hand.
Yeah, so we need to work with you. Some people like 3 meals with 2 snacks. Some people like 6 small meals. We work with you. There is no wrong answer. It's what are you going to stick with?
Yeah, well,
is really what it comes down to.
Perfect is sometimes the enemy of good when it comes to fitness and nutrition. You have to do what you're going to be able to do long term, and that's the perfect plan for you.
Correct. Nailed it. I always like that quote.
And meal prep. Prepare your food.
Yes.
You fail to prepare, you prepare to fail.
Have your meals. There's no, the worst feeling is when I come home. So I rely on Eat Clean Bro.
Yeah, if I forget to put the order in.
Yeah, I rely heavily on Eat Clean Bro because my lifestyle is bonkers, right? So it's what helps me stay on track. I prep my own snacks and breakfast, but I usually have my Eat Clean Bro for my lunch and my dinner. It's what works for me. If anybody uses Eat Clean Bro, we do have a promo code with them, Rev10. You'll get a discount. So again, I work with them, but when I come home from a long shift and I'm exhausted and nothing's prepped, I have an Eat Clean Bro in there. I throw it in the microwave. I'm ready to go.
Well, for me, I'll utilize both. I'll have the Clean Bros, or I like to just cook up a bunch of chicken. I'll cook up like 2-3 pounds of chicken at once for the week, 2 bags of rice, and I'll eat it over the next 2-3 days, and then repeat.
Yes. Because what happens if you don't? You start cooking and you start grabbing a bag, and as you're preparing, you're
munching. Exactly.
And then you're not cooking it.
That's also why it's important. People sometimes, if they have say they have like a long commute from work, they'll have a snack in the car on their way home, like a small snack. So by the time they get home, they're not ravenous. They say, it's time for a meal. And they sit down and have a meal.
Question,
is that Christy Ann? Do you guys recommend amino acids for recovery and pre-workout supplements and or drinks before workouts? Love this question because we were just about to dive into supplements. Yes, perfectly timed. So a few things to consider. So I love pre-workout. I work with Apollon Nutrition. It's a local supplement company out of Edison, New Jersey. And so I use Apollon Nutrition's Hooligan as my pre-workout. Love it. You do get like the tingles from it.
It's a good one.
It does give you a pump, right? They also have another supplement called, oh my God. No, the new one for the endurance because it'd be perfect for OTF. No. Lionheart. It's more for endurance. So OTF, people that do kickboxing, MMA, like people that are moving, so you're able to get all the energy without a heavy pump. Because sometimes pre-workout formulas have ingredients in it that cause a pump in the muscle, which can sometimes make you feel a little heavy. I love that feeling, but it's not always great for running. Yeah. So Apollon Nutrition, Lionheart, freaking awesome. When it comes to, now you may not want that. You may just want to have a cup of coffee. Totally cool as well.
But usually when it comes to pre-workouts, I usually say take them for the kick in the ass results. Don't depend on them for the muscle building and fat burning claims.
Yes, they're always going to market and make it more intense. I mean, yes, the blood rush does give me, or blood sport does give me a massive pump, pulling blood flow into the muscle, creating a more anabolic environment for the muscle to grow. Yes, there are benefits to it.
Right, but the main one is...
It's not going to make you a bodybuilder though, so just...
But to the aminos.
Yeah, so now to the aminos, okay? So things to keep in mind is when you're eating an adequate amount of protein, you are getting in those protein sources BCAAs, your branched chain amino acids. BCAAs literally make up the protein within your chicken and steak and all that. Now, there are BCAAs and EAAs, essential amino acid formulas. Apollon Nutrition has that as well. I prefer using Enigma. It is a BCAA, electrolyte, and EAA formula. I do use that as an intra-workout, so I mix it into my water while I'm working out, and it does keep me recovering and performing my absolute best.
Especially during high intensity workouts or when you're in a caloric deficit, it can be really helpful.
Yes, especially when you're in a caloric deficit. So anybody in here who is doing this transformation challenge who is going to a caloric deficit,
it may be helpful.
It may be helpful. And in addition, if you struggle drinking water, it tastes good. It tastes good. So that was actually a really great question.
I could say it works.
Yeah,
but the Enigma tastes good.
The Enigma tastes good, but it does aid in the recovery.
In terms of other supplements that are good, creatine's always proven going to help experience a recovery, but again, it's not a steroid, not going to make you a freak.
Yeah, none of these things are going to make you a freak. You got to remember that. Like a lot of people that are like holding, you see these big bodybuilders holding that protein up, they're taking a lot of other stuff also. It's not the protein.
Yeah, most fat burners these days are not, they don't really work. They might as well be caffeine pills. Some of them can help with appetite suppressants, but there's probably better ways to go about that than jacking yourself up like that.
If you have any medical conditions, heart conditions, you avoid that shit like the plague.
The hormone boosters and hormone regulators you can get from GNC and stuff, I would be wary of, especially with the prevalence of more hormone doctors, men's clinics, this sort of thing. You can get it tested and done properly and have it really done right instead of wasting a significant amount of money for something that.
Yeah, and when it comes to hormones, most people talk about men with low testosterone. It does go for women too. Women do encounter hormonal imbalances that they will go to a clinic for to get kind of on a more even playing field.
It could be thyroid, it could be a million different things. And those things change throughout your life too. Whether it's menopause, just men aging and testosterone naturally dropping.
Get your blood works. Get your blood works.
A couple years ago back, I went to a urologist. I went to my primary, said, I think I have this. She tested it. I had low things. She sent me to the urologist. He gives me a thing, all back to normal, all better. And it was under a doctor's watch.
Yes. And if there's any men in the chat, as you get older, your natural testosterone is going to drop. You may go to a doctor who may be 55 years old. You may go to a doctor and he says, oh, your testosterone levels are normal for your age. That's fine, but you may not want what's normal for your age. That is something to discuss with your doctor. It's not going to happen from us or
strength training can definitely help with those too naturally.
Strength training and a healthy diet come first. Without a doubt.
Yeah, a lot of times those can do a lot of the work.
Yes.
But sometimes there's real problems.
Stress, sleep, there's other factors that impact your testosterone as well.
I don't know if we're going to get too far into it, but in terms of other supplements, I guess you can call it drugs, these weight loss injections that are going around, I don't want to name a certain brand. Mm-hmm. For some people, they may be the right answer to start. Morbidly obese people, diabetics, people who would maybe have used bariatric surgery in the past. This is the way maybe to get to a sustainable level for them. Okay. But there's starting to already come to light a lot of really negative side effects with it. Yeah. We're seeing people come off it, put all the weight back on, their thyroids are messed up. And, you do need to be on it forever.
Listen,
I don't want to tell people what to do. The science is pretty sound behind it, but there's another side to it.
If you're going from being nauseous and eating 500 calories a day to coming off this medication and going back to your lifestyle previously, you're going to have a bad time.
And it's $1,000 a month.
Yes.
If you're going to spend $1,000 a month on Ozempic, I'll say the name, you guys don't have to, then why don't you put a third of the money into, and it doesn't even need to be Orange Theory. Let it be one of the other brands out there, plus the nutrition from you guys, Revolutionize.
Right, or again, it could be someone else. Just
and make it sustainable. Don't shoot yourself up.
We've had a lot of people come to us post use of the medication because they're psychologically.
And I gotta say, some who have been impressive is the ones who have been smart enough to use us in conjunction with it, to at least have another eye. Again, people are going to make their own choices. I'm not your preacher, father, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to judge. But we do see people in fitness community starting to use it, and I go, that's ridiculous. I don't want to defend steroids, but those are something you can't do naturally.
Yeah.
Ozempic is something you can just. I don't want to say it's willpower, but you can do it.
With insulin and now they're doing
it can be overcome naturally.
So I guess the biggest thing is, people who are using meds you work with a nutritionist in conjunction is key, but also understand that if you decide to come off these drugs, what's next?
Yeah.
You need to have the education, the tools to know what's next. Not only education and tools, but the support system, coping skills, whatever it may be. To help you to aid in those behavioral changes that you need to continue, because you're not going to live the rest of your life eating 500 calories. In addition, the extreme dieting because of the drug is causing people to atrophy. They're dropping
a significant amount of lean mass.
They're dropping weight from lean mass. They're dropping weight from muscle mass because many of these people are not resistance training in conjunction with it because many of them are unable to.
And even if you are resistance training, 500, 700, 1,000 calories isn't going to do any good.
Yes. So just keep in mind how important the resistance training is with the nutrition in conjunction.
And again, I feel like in another year or two, I'll be able to have more data on the negatives of this.
Yes, yeah. I could go on a whole spiel, so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too hard.
No, it's just those quick fixes that work temporarily, but they're just that, quick fixes.
Yes. There's always a new quick fix since forever. There's always something new.
Oh my God, wasn't there an egg diet or something where you just ate eggs all day long?
Before that, it was in the 90s. It was a Fedra. Like Trump, baby. Like there's always something.
Wait, Michelle, you're not old enough to know about the 90s.
People, your Fedra worked.
It helped me drop 2 weight classes in wrestling.
I'm at the convenience store. Let's get some stackers.
My parents used to buy them.
Shit, man, we were getting heart palpitations. Like it was
sorry,
terrible.
way off topic there.
Yeah.
But we did get a question from Christine. I'm so sorry that we took so long to get to this. What is a ballpark range for how many grams of protein you should be ingesting?
A good way to work off this
also depends. There's a lot of factors.
Yeah. You can either go kilogram, off kilos and go 1 protein per kilo of body weight, or I really prefer going off your lean mass and adjusting it around that. So if you're like a 150-pound woman with 100-pound of lean mass, probably somewhere between 110 to 115. If you're, more muscular, maybe a little higher. And those are good starting points.
And the next part, are we building or
and any extremes? That's where I would say ask for help. If you're a 500-pound man with 300-pound lean mass to carry that around, you probably shouldn't be having 300 grams of protein.
Absolutely not.
Or same thing, if you're super petite, if you're a 100-pound woman with 65, 70 pounds of lean mass, you probably shouldn't be having 60, 70 grams. You probably still be having that 100.
Right.
100 is usually the minimum I say for anybody.
Right. And it also depends
on, unless there's a medical condition, which is very rare.
Yes. Like, do you have 1 kidney that we need to know about?
That
literally happened. Somebody who decided to tell us months into working with us that they only had 1 kidney. I was like, that's great. Thank you. Kind of important. So, again, are you a sedentary individual? Are you active? Or do you want to be a bodybuilder? There's just more factors that go into it, but it's a good place to start. Let's see did I miss anything else? No, I didn't miss anything. So I think we really touched on majority of the topics. Are there any questions that you have, Wendy? Any questions that
you hear from the members?
Common topics that you're hearing about, people discussing that you want us to clarify or clear up?
I think people just need guidance, and that's where we've said it a million times. It's out of my scope of practice, which is why we hook up with you guys for the last 8-9 years. You're the best to go to. It is a you're welcome. Stop. Tell me more. It's comprehensive, and I'm so glad corporate added the piece where they're sending the weekly emails. We've been able to view them as coaches and studio managers. They're so good. They're touching on rest and recovery, the importance of sleep, the importance of nutrition, the importance of hormones.
Yeah, we did a whole blog on that sleep, because sleep is a rough one for a lot of people.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
There's only so many factors you can
control,
but there are factors you can take care of.
Yeah, stress. I'm drinking caffeine right now, and tonight should be interesting falling asleep.
I was going to say, if I was drinking caffeine right now, I wouldn't be asleep at all.
No, she won't be. That's what happens.
So, and obviously, if people have questions that they're uncomfortable discussing, reach out to us. Again, we are the owners of Revolutionize Nutrition. I'm the girl behind all the social media and the emails, so you can reach out to us anytime. We do complimentary initial consultations and Fit 3D scan for anybody who's interested. It's a very no pressure environment. You could come in and just learn about what we offer.
Yeah, all the pricing is on the website at revolutionize.com, so everything is transparent. Pretty much you can learn about the whole program online. We have a ton of stuff on YouTube, Instagram Reels, the blogs on the website. We put out just a lot of information so that by the time you come into us, it's just a matter of when can I get started and let me learn a little bit more about your life. Let us learn about you more than you're learning about us.
Exactly. And you have that one-on-one time with your nutritionist. You meet with them weekly. You can reach out to us
I'll brag about that a little bit too, because they really are. Awesome. They're the real heroes.
Because that's what heroes do.
they are all they're all college degreed in nutrition and dietetics. You know, they are the experts in this. You know, one of the goals I had when I wanted to start a business was to hire people smarter than me to do the things that I wouldn't be doing every day. And that's what they are. They are really good at it. I'm okay, but they really are good at it.
Yes, yes. So trust me, these girls, they're phenomenal. And like I said, you have regular contact with us. You have a community here. You have a support system here, just like you do at OTF. Pull them in together, and it is a beautiful marriage, if you will.
And we're here along the way. If people and members have questions along the challenge,
we want to help.
Come up, just touch base with us. We're always here to help.
We want to help you. Like a week into the challenge, you might be like, it's a 7 a.m. class. I feel like trash. What should I eat? What should I do? Reach out to us. We'll give you some tips.
Yeah, I'm not going to charge you for that.
And many of our members who won over the years, whether it be first, second, third, did the nutrition component.
They did.
That's the reality.
It's like cheating, basically.
They did. Yeah, we had a lot of winners. We had a lot of winners that were working with OT, they were working with Rev and annihilated the competition. So just saying.
And a lot of those people are still with us.
And honestly, they're still with us because a lot of people love just coming to us for the accountability. Like I said, it's kind of like therapy at Rev. Like you might come in and during your 30-minute follow-up, we talk about nutrition for a few minutes and the rest is like,
what's going on?
What's going on?
Oh,
you know?
I think Kristen's still damaged from when I was her client. She knows more about me than most people.
But that's what
some of the things we hear about, trust me.
Like, all right, you got take a step back. Like you're going to a nutrition company. You're already not comfortable. You're going to a strange place that you've never been.
A bunch of strangers.
A bunch of strangers. You're talking about a lot of vulnerability, a lot of discomfort. You're confronting things that maybe you've never confronted before. We want to make sure that you feel safe and in a supportive environment there. That's all I want for you guys.
I'll shout out the reception staff. They do a wonderful job of welcoming everyone with a smile, a warm, greeting, and making sure the first thing you see there is someone going, "It's okay. We're going to get through this and move you forward."
Yeah, like we want you to look forward to your appointment at Red. Be like, "Oh, it's me time," because again, most people here are busy taking care of everybody else in their lives. That when they have that 1 hour in the gym with you, when they have their 30-minute follow-up with us, it's their appointment with themselves, and it's the one time of the week that they have for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, she has a friend in her personal life who's finally taken some time to focus on themselves and put in some mental health work and physical work. And they have said how much of a difference it feels to finally, for the first time in their lives, work on themselves.
At the age of 40, he's finally confronting and building new skills and habits he's never done before. And I think that's also important is for you guys to understand how supportive we are of mental health. And making sure that you're well-rounded emotionally, mentally, physically, nourishing. You want to be healthy in all different
it's cheesy, but you got to fill your cup first.
Yes.
And you're allowed to cry.
Yes.
Dude.
Oh my God.
I've cried.
There's tissues on every desk, I believe.
We've all cried there.
No, I'd be listening to somebody else and they're like, shit. Like, it's emotional. It really is.
It's emotional.
A lot of the, food is very
emotional,
attached to emotions. We stress eat. We don't eat because of stress. We celebrate with food. We self-sabotage with food. Like food just comes in.
Like I'm Italian and Jewish. Someone born or someone dies, we're eating. Like it's just what you're doing.
Yeah, right? So food it keeps everything going. So again, it comes down to that mental, that emotional component. And yes, there are a lot of tears, but we want to make sure that you're leaving.
And some of them are tears of joy.
And some of them tears of happiness,
right?
We want to make sure that you leave feeling good, whether it's you've got something off your chest you needed to talk about, or you just wanted to share the good news, you hit a new PR this week, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's what we want for you. We want you to leave making sure you feel good. Awesome, and never lie to us. Even if you had a rough week, you talk to us.
Yeah, so we can help you.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And listen, you guys know when someone lies.
We do. I might not tell you I know, but
the scams tell everything.
I'll just yes somebody to death. I'll be like, okay, and then in my head I'm like,
I mean, Michelle's got some funny stories that I don't want to spend too much time getting into, but sometimes did you track? Like, of course it is. Like, can I see your phone? And magically, this person will forget their phone 10 weeks in a row.
Yeah. They're like, I left my phone at home. I'm like, did you though?
Why don't we have a walk to your car?
Yeah.
Let's walk together. I'll hold your hand. Nah. Like, I don't want to call people out, but come on.
It's happened.
If the shoe fits.
Yeah, it's like, did you track your backers this week? Yes. Oh, can I see your log? Oh, I forgot. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and half of Friday. Like, oh, okay. But at least when you're honest, I'm not sitting there scratching my head wondering, like, why isn't this working? You know, like, be honest, because the more you tell us,
a lot of times too,
the more we can help you.
sometimes when you're not being fully accountable to yourself, you overemphasize what you are doing and underemphasize what you're not. And you can be frustrated with your own progress, and we can be like, look, here's what's going on. You go, okay. Well, I would, you know, and you can kind of breathe and go, there's a reason.
Yeah, sometimes people come into Rev thinking that they had a terrible week, and it turns out they're just fine.
Exactly.
They make me feel we're like, ah, you're perfectly fine. You know, so.
But we'll let everybody get to this football game.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, myself included. It was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I love working with you guys. You're family to us, personally and professionally.
Right back at you. So when we get off, this is going to be pinned and saved on our wall. I'm going to try to save the video. If not, I'll just sit and screen record it on my phone and then send it that way. But in the meantime, anybody can access this on our wall. I'll see what I can do as far as saving it and transferring it over to you so you can blast it out as well, okay?
Yes, thank you.
That's what the caffeine's for tonight.
That's what the caffeine's for. I got work to do.
All right, good night, guys. Good luck.
All right, love you guys.
Bye, everybody. Good luck.
Bye, honey.